Many years of planning and many months of work has led up to this. I can't believe the day has come, but it's actually arrived. 2019 is right upon us, just a few hours away. And of course, 2019 is going to be a very special year because 2019 marks 10 years of MTWS. 2009, wow. Long time ago when I was 15 and 16 when I first started this league, I would never thought 10 years later it would still be going on and getting ready to celebrate its 10th anniversary. And of course, to celebrate this occasion, I have a lot, and I mean a lot, of things to announce and show for the upcoming year. But of course, first off, just like with the 5th anniversary, the logo is going to get a massive update for the year. Back in the 5th anniversary, the colors were sapphire and pink tourmaline. Well, for the 10th anniversary colors, they are silver and sapphire. And just like back in 2014, for the 5th anniversary, it was giving you Asugoi memories for 5 years. For 10th anniversary, it's 10 years of blissful destruction. And oh boy, I'm hoping to deliver a whole bunch of destruction this year. But before I get to some of the main things that all of you are waiting to see in this video, I am also going to try and this year explain like more in-depth history of MTWS throughout the year. How did the league started? And everything else in between the league, like the rivalries, history, and other things that I've never explained before until throughout the year. So tune in for that. That's going to be very interesting to talk about. That's something I've been bubbling in my head for like 10 years, and I've been wanting to explain it to people, and I'm finally going to be able to very soon. And of course, for the 5th anniversary, it was really special because we actually came back for a whole new league, season of MTWS, and of course we came back the next year in 2015. Unfortunately, we can't come back still. It's still too much for me to do. However, this year, I actually have put in the most events up since 2015. This year, we are going to have five events. And they all have a special symbolic reason why these cities I chose them. But of course, we'll get to that a bit later on in the video. But for this year, I decided to go much bigger to celebrate the 10th anniversary. As I didn't really do much in terms of the 5th anniversary, other than update the logo and give the MTWS Truck a 5th anniversary paint and make the touring cars sapphire and pink tourmaline colors. This time, I decided to go much more out and decided to give the 12 founding trucks of MTWS a special 10th anniversary paint job that tries very hard to replicate all their history in one paint. Each paint, by and large, will have some reference to the truck's past with their current look as well, and to give some more in-depth history to them as well in their 10 years of existence. Also, all the 10th anniversary founding truck paints have the 10th anniversary logo symbolically mentioning, hey, these are the original trucks that have been here for 10 years and are going to continue on into the new years and beyond. So of course, let's get to previewing those new paints. And of course, starting off with the MTWS Truck itself. As of course, as you can see, it has the silver and sapphire paint scheme for the 10th anniversary colors. This time around, I flipped them around, so I had the sapphire up front and the silver in back, whereas the previous paint, I had sapphire up front and the tourmaline in the back, because I thought it would look better with it in the front than in the back. But as you see, it's got a massive update to the paint. It looks much better too. And on the roof, if you barely see, I put the number 10 on the roof to signify the 10th anniversary of this paint. And although this truck will not compete in any events coming up this year, it will be doing an encore in each event, including a very special one at the end of the year. But of course, that's just the MTWS truck. But we still got all the founded trucks, and I'm going to show you all in order of when they were actually repainted during the last month or so. So let's begin to finally debut these new paints that I've worked so hard these last 2 months to work on. So we start off with Wild Ride, the original official truck of MTWS, back into its original Dodge body that ran from 2009 to 2010, as it has a massive overhaul. It's one of my most beautifulest trucks I've ever created. And of course, it now has orange theme with the new flame and all, but still has its reds paint, although it's not seen here. And if you notice, both the shocks and the rims inside those side of tires are black to be a symbolic message to the fact that Wild Ride, remember, used to have a tire paint on the bed part of the truck like a cover. I was thinking about maybe adding a tire on there, but I really couldn't figure out how I would do it in the back, so I canceled that idea. So instead, I made the rims on the left side black, whereas the right tires, actually they're the left tires, orange to show off the new orange paint scheme for the truck. But of course, don't worry, when 2020 comes around, it's going to have the red bed like it's supposed to. It was originally supposed to have the red red bed like it usually used to have, but I ended up forgetting to put that on because I'm a fucking idiot, and I figured it looked so beautiful right now I did not want to change it, but it will be back in 2020, and I think this is one of the most professional looking trucks I've ever painted, and I feel so good to make this truck, and I'm glad to see Wild Ride back into an original Dodge body. Then after that, it's Prowler, as it is probably the least work I've done on all the trucks, as it does not really have much history to it. So I decided to give it the sapphire paint job instead, covering the entire body, keeping its original white scheme or gray scheme somewhat on the axles and the bead locks itself. And of course, I put the 10th anniversary logo on top of it. And of course, the logo has a lot of sapphire color into it to reference the 10th anniversary. But of course, in 2020, the logo will go back to what it normally looks like, gray and such. But still a beautiful truck, off the fly off the top of my head what I could have thought of. And Prowler can't wait to show itself off this year in the free events it'll be competing in, as we got many more trucks to go. Next up is the 5-time champion and defending racing champion, Outlaw. And this was a lot of work and reference. The paint job is a huge reference to its original paint, which was light gray with a whole bunch of lighter gray, green circles on it. I changed it to gray background with a bunch of bubbles being green as its old reference. And of course, I brought back its checkered flag, which it ran during the 2010 season as it was the first racing champion. And of course, the very obvious reference on the front engine sticking out the hood, as it originally had from 2009 to 2014, as it's the only engine on the truck. Oh boy, what a beautiful reference this is, as this truck took a lot of work to put together, especially finding that engine. I had to look on one of the old MTM2 sites. I was so surprised it was around to get that engine, as that was very difficult to put into place. I had to resize it all and everything, as our 5-time champion is ready to try and win every single event it can get its hands on this year. After that, it is the 2011 racing champion, Power Forward, as this has a whole bunch of reference to it. It's the same body and the back part with the checkered flag pattern, but this paint scheme is a reference to its original paint from 2009 to 2013, I believe it was, where it was a lighter blue, and it had a pattern like it was skin on it, and it was something I was able to thankfully replicate on Photoshop somewhat, and I gave it a little bit of a mix between light blue and a little darker shade of blue to contrast between its former paint and a little bit more of its more current paint, although the current blue it usually has is much more darker than that. And of course, since I didn't know it at the time, power forward was a basketball reference, even though I should have known power forward from Monster Jam in the early 2000s. So since it was a basketball reference, I decided to paint the roof and stuff orange to replicate kind of like a basketball, although it's a terrible orange since a basketball is more like brownish orange. And the logo itself, I actually gave, as you see, the basketball color around it, which gave it like I gave it kind of like the texture of what a basketball looks like, but inside the red, it looks like a gem encrusted in something. So that's more of like a reference now, the power forward of the gem, like a cherry red. So now instead of bright red, that's now cherry red, as I made that the color of the frame and the rims and such too. So power forward got a whole bunch of updates to its new 10th anniversary paint as it looks forward to win a whole bunch of events this year. After that, we get to our next truck, Destroyer, as I decided to go with a little bit more of a retro theme, as of course you know its main colors are red, blue, and its goldish color, but however historically it was mostly red and blue with the gold in the middle, and I wanted to think of a way to replicate it, but I couldn't figure out how to do it right, so I decided I'll make it gold completely and have a red and blue stripe going right down the middle of the truck. And as you can see, the one side has red shocks and the other side is blue. I thought about doing the rims and such too, but I figured it'd be too much work. Who knows, maybe I will do it before the 2019 events begin. So this could possibly be like a beta before it's released. So don't get the final design fully in your head. This might not be it, but either way, it definitely looks beautiful and retro as Destroyer is ready to go to compete in all those events and hopefully try and get a win. After that, we get to our 2015 and defending freestyle champion, Impala. And this is a paint scheme I've wanted to do for a very long time. Gray and light blue as a reference to the Detroit Lions in the NFL. I've been wanting to do this since all the way back like in 2013, but I never did it. And I'm glad I chose it for the 10th anniversary color, as it really cleaned up the truck. It looks much more crystal clear than it did before. And of course, this truck will go back to its original black and dark red for 2020. And of course, I might actually keep the original idea of maybe having the logo now on the hood instead of on the side, because it looks much more clear than it did on the side. As you see, I have the MTWS logo on the back bed, and I have the 2015 championship font on top of the roof. And with Impala, we now mark halfway through the 12,000 trucks to debut their paint. So let's get to our next truck, the 2011 freestyle champion and arch rival of Impala, Thunderbolt. As Thunderbolt's paint scheme has flipped around back to its original teal with some blue as the side, and of course kept the cloud, well, much better thunder cloud on top with lightning strikes on the hood and around the cab. And of course I painted the teal and gave it a texture that looks like rain, which of course would make sense if it's supposed to be based upon a thunderstorm, have rain on the texture as well. And I put a lightning bolt straight across the sides of the cab, as you can see right there. It might be very difficult to tell since it cuts off by and large, but this is one beautiful repaint. I was thinking about actually making the frame teal, but I decided against it to keep the blue in there, as it now Thunderbolt looks more like what originally did from 2009 and 2011 when it won its freestyle title, more teal and less bit of blue afterwards. Next up is the former freestyle king of MTWS and two-time freestyle runner-up, and that is Crazy, who looks like just committed bloody murder, as Crazy for the 10th anniversary has gone absolutely insane and lustful and jealous of Impala's title as the freestyle king. As you can see right there, Crazy thinks of itself as the real freestyle king, as it formerly had that title until it fell off back in 2012 and 2013 and 2014 at first part, allowing Impala to come in and swoop in and take that title, and of course now is the freestyle champion. So Crazy's only way to possibly get back that title is to probably win a freestyle title, but of course we have to come back as a series before we can do that. And of course, that crown design, which is from King Carnage, that actually might not be final by the time the series begins, because I still have that new crown that animated for King Carnage on Rigs of Rods. And if I get all set up for King Carnage on MTM2, I might actually convert over for Crazy as well. So this might not be a final design for Crazy, so keep that in mind. After Crazy, next up is Flying Falcon. As Flying Falcon is on a brand new Ford Falcon body, which looks much better than it originally did. And of course, as you noticed, it's green now instead of orange and yellow, which is its primary colors. It still has the primary colors orange and yellow, as you see on the bottom trims of the body. I decided to flip it around to green for the 10th anniversary, because green is its normal color for the font, so green's kind of like its secondary color as well, so I decided to do that for its 10th anniversary. And it has like a carpet-like pattern, like a groovy pattern from like the 70s, which kind of like Flying Falcon has that 70s vibe to it. And when it comes back in 2020, it will flip around and have its normal yellow and orange pattern with maybe some more green in it to keep that reference going. But other than that, by and large, the truck is the same, although it does have green axles as well. And of course, this is a body that will most likely run for the rest of its lifetime, and of course it has a cab cover on the back as well. We're now winding down with the trucks, but we still got 3 more to go, and next up was the very first ever truck made for MTWS, and that is Shatter. The original MTWS truck, as you can barely see on the flag, it mentions that first MTWS truck, as this truck has a whole bunch of reference to it. First off, brought back the exclamation point, which was on its name from 2009 to 2014. I also remember it was a police Ford Crown Victoria as its original body. I was originally going to do that, but of course I could not find any other body of that type that was much better looking, so I decided to go for next best thing. I got a Camaro body from the 60s as its reference, so it has like that cop look to it with the sirens on top, which it had back when it was a Ford body. And of course I kept the white and orange as a reference to its current color scheme now, and I put a whole bunch more black on it to go back to its original scheme color of black. So it has a mix of everything, and of course this truck will go back to its original body since 2015. This is just like a one-time appearance to bring back its original theme as a car and a cop cruiser. And Shatter is looking forward to winning a whole bunch of events this year. Next up is the Reverser King, Predator, with a massive rehaul to it, as the eyes, as you can see, are much more sinister looking, look almost like an owl. I made the flames much better, and it originally was supposed to be a red fur-like pattern, because it's like a beast basically, so I added a fur color to it. It was originally supposed to be more red, because that's what it kind of was more like back in its heyday of 2009 to 2013, but I accidentally made it black, which was its current scheme now, and I did not like that. So when I went back to change it to red, I accidentally found out this compromise basically between red and black, and gave it a brown pattern, a unique brown pattern, as it was between red and black. So now both colors are mixed together for a unique 10th anniversary look to it. And of course, since you can't see the animated eyes right here, I actually went in-game and put Predator at an angle where you can see the eyes animate, as here they are. And as you can see right here, they animate just the same way, and I made it a little bit better too, with the eyebrows covering the eyes as they come down, whereas Predator before did not have any eyebrows whatsoever. Looks much better and much more professional. I finally got rid of those stupid, dopey anime-like eyes I made back in 2014, and it looks much better. But now, we are down to our final truck, the truck that gave me such a headache and put so much work into it, the truck that I probably put more work into than any other truck ever in terms of making trucks ever for any game, and that is Fireball. As it went back to its original black scheme when it had a more like appearance of Power Wheels for Bigfoot, and this truck has over 100 textures on it in order to give it its original flaming animation appearance it's had since 2014. It now goes from black to gray to white to yellow to orange to red to dark red to gray and back to black, as it took a lot of work to remake that animation. Because not only did I have to remake the animation, I had to repost it onto the body, so I had to pick each face individually in order for it to get back on. It was a lot of work, and of course there was an error with it, so I had to do a lot more work to figure out why it was not doing it in the exact same order. But I finally managed to get it done after over 7 hours of work on that paint, as here it is in game. And as you can see, I made the animation go much faster. The original animation was 4 frames a second, so it went through the entire animation in just a second. This time, I've tripled the speed. Now it's going through the frames, 12 frames a second, and it looks so beautiful sped up like that, doesn't it? And of course, with that, that marks all the 10th anniversary paints for the 12 Founding trucks of MTWS. I worked on them for almost 2 months, and I managed to get them done just in time, right before 2019 came around. But of course, we're not done yet. After all those minutes of showing off the new paints, I have to announce and show where we're going to be going for the 10th anniversary for MTWS. MTWS will be headed to 5 cities this year for 5 events throughout the year. There will be one in the spring, summer, fall, winter, which will be on Christmas, and a special 10th anniversary event right in August. And each event has a major symbolic reference, which I'm going to explain as I mention and show them. So first off, every truck is going to compete in 3 events. All the trucks are going to compete in 3 events. Now you're probably wondering, how are you going to do that with 5 events? Well, you'll see as I go on. So first off, let's get to our first event on Sunday, March 17th, 2019. MTWS will be heading out to Anaheim, California with 20 trucks, our first event there since 2014. Now, this event is a reference to Los Angeles being the original first site for the MTWS Championship back in 2009. However, no one made Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum yet, and I'm too much of a lazy bastard to do it myself. So I decided to go for a compromise and head to Anaheim, which still is part of Los Angeles, as that will be our first event. It'll be nice to come back to that baseball diamond field and make a really cool track, hopefully, for that, which I eventually have to work on to get this event ready to go for then. Of course, this will be, I believe, 1 week before Monster Jam does the All-Star Challenge in Sam Boyd Stadium, so this would be a good idea to show the contrast between my league and how Feld runs Monster Jam, so you can decide for yourself which one does their shit better. But that is the spring event. Then we go to our summer event on Saturday, June 25th, 2019. MTWS will be heading to Arlington, Texas in AT&T Stadium with 20 trucks, the other half that did not compete in the Anaheim event, and compete here for the first time since 2014, as this is a reference to the very first live MTWS event, which was back in Cowboy Stadium back in December of 2009 for the 2009 season finale. Of course, that stadium is long gone. AT&T Stadium takes its place, and I am looking forward to coming here. Arlington has always been a good place to do MTWS, and I believe 3 shows we've done there, and of course 2 of them were live when we last came here in 2014. So only good things could come out of this event. But then, the most very special event of the year is going to take place in August. On Monday, August 26th, the most special moment of all will take place in Baltimore as we return to Royal Farms Arena for the first time since 2010 on the 10th anniversary, literal, and I mean literal 10th anniversary for MTWS, as August 26th marks 10 years since the very first MTWS event ever. And to celebrate this occasion, it's only going to be the 12 Founding trucks, just like it was on that Wednesday back in 2009, as this will be a Monday night event. in the arena, our first arena event since probably 2010 as well in Baltimore, as that is going to be very, very cool. I'm going to have to try and make a unique track for racing and freestyle and stuff to accommodate the small arena, but I've done it before, I can do it again, and the trucks are going to be looking forward to coming back here again. Then, on Saturday, September 28th, 2019, MTWS will be heading out of the border, out of the country, into Canada for the first time ever in Montreal, Quebec, with 26 trucks. The trucks that did not compete in the Baltimore event will compete here. That might help a lot of those trucks out finally get their first win or some major accomplishment, since most of the found in trucks are very huge in terms of those events. This event symbolics two things. One, MTWS's spread outside of America, as of course Canada loves MTWS so much that it is the only place outside of America that we've gone to every year by and large. We've done an event every single season by and large back when we had seasons. And of course, I decided to do Montreal to also signify MTWS's growing spread, as this will be the first time ever we will be heading there, and this will be the third ever Canadian city to host MTWS event, being only Toronto and Vancouver being the other one. But we still have one more event. It's not the most special, but it's going to be the most destructive. On Christmas Day, we are heading out to the holy grail of monster trucks, as we're heading back out to Las Vegas in Sam Boyd Stadium for the most ultimate monster truck event ever. And yes, you are not seeing that incorrectly. 40 trucks are going to compete. That is the biggest monster truck event possibly ever, as every single MTWS truck, excluding the MTWS truck itself, are going to compete out here. All 40, and the event will finish off with a spectacular encore to signal the finale and conclusion of the 10th anniversary as we look forward into 2020. And with that, those are the 5 events MTWS will be going to. The 12 founded trucks will be going to Baltimore. The last of those 26 trucks will be heading to Montreal. Everyone will be competing in Las Vegas. It's just Anaheim and Arlington that I have not decided yet, and I'm eventually going to decide who's going to be competing in those events, and I will announce it on my site, which the link is in the description. As all my videos, it will take you straight to my site, and you can go straight to the MTWS link to find out who will be competing in those events as I announce them. And with that, that will wrap up the live event video for the 10th anniversary of MTWS, as I am looking forward to it. And of course, I gotta get to work very soon. I gotta eventually make the tracks, especially for Anaheim coming up in slightly less than 3 months. I gotta get to work on that. I gotta also get to work on deciding who's gonna compete in the Anaheim and Arlington events, as those are undecided yet. And also, coming up after this video is over, I'm going to start publishing the new theme song videos for the 12 founded trucks and MTWS itself, as I have not done that yet after my massive updates for all the trucks this year. Some have new themes, most keep their original themes, so keep an eye out for that as I upload them, as I gotta do a whole bunch of work on the site too. Oh boy, that's gonna be annoying. And not only that, these trucks, if you play MTM2, these 10th anniversary trucks will be up to download very soon, so you could actually drive these 10th anniversary trucks as long as you desire. So go on MTM2.com as I eventually upload the trucks once I do all the readme and stuff like that afterwards. So I hope you all enjoyed watching this announcement video of MTWS's 10th anniversary, as I enjoyed finally revealing the paints. I look forward to eventually doing videos explaining more of the history of the league. And of course, get ready for Anaheim, Arlington, Baltimore, Montreal, and Las Vegas. This year is going to be sick for MTWS and monster trucks. So see you guys next time when we're out in Anaheim.